Okay, so 3 is Jayden Daniels from LSU. Reluctantly, I might add, because I'm not enamored with Jayden Daniels' game. I must admit, I don't see the top 3 pick that he probably will be. Um, I'll go into why shortly, but I'll tell you what he does well first and why he is so well regarded. His game is entirely built on athleticism, it's built on vision, and it's built on football IQ. Now, all those 3 things are great on their own. So, elite athlete, speed, explosive, short area movements, his agility is absolutely it's elite. Um, Shows physicality and toughness in the pocket and as a rusher, dangerous as a rusher. There's incredible creation capacity with the ball in his hands, and he has to be accounted for on every play. Unbelievable creation capacity when the play breaks down. He's got the arm talent to drop the ball in buckets going deep. Sharp, compact throw in, release and motion, quick processor, and mostly a really good decision maker. Able to read the full field as well. With LSU, they didn't have to give him like half field reads or one read options or anything like that. He was able to scan the whole field quickly, able to diagnose pre-snap as well. Had that intelligence to do that, and I think he's got the eyes to manipulate safeties going through his reads. I would have liked some more anticipation, but I saw it when he's attacking the middle of the field, which doesn't go for everyone in this class. And I think he's got a really good understanding of natural leverage when his receivers are creating in breaking routes. So just on the turn, he knows where the leverage is going. He understands where that leverage is to anticipate, and he also anticipates the pressure well as well. He is really skinny though. That is a problem. He's always listed at 6'4", 210 pounds. He has been for like the last 3 years, and then at his combine was exactly that. And no one's ever bob on, so I'm just not having it really. We've got no real athletic testing either. We will go into some of the weaknesses, but we'll do what basically did last time. I presume you have him here at some point, Stu.
Yeah, same spot.
Yeah.
I like Jayden Daniels. I don't love Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
I think he does have a good command of the field, and he understands how to play the position. The benefits of being 5 years of starting will do that for a prospect, absolutely. He does run a lot, and I do have a bit concerns about his durability. Particularly if he is slender, you've got to catch him first, right enough. But if he's going to be, he's not the same kind of runner of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't take hits. He just, I think people have made that, oh, he's the next Lamar Jackson. No, Jayden Daniels will take a battering. Lamar Jackson, you just can't touch him because he's so slippery. But I wonder at
It's
that
different.
frame,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a completely
that
different
frame, whether
style.
he's gonna the players don't get smaller and slower at the NFL level. But he's someone who, yeah, as you say, all right, he does read the field reasonably well. He moves through his progressions. He can attack from the pocket. He doesn't solely rely on just getting out and running around and causing chaos. He can anticipate pretty well. He's got a bit of that. He's got nowhere near the velocity of Penix, but he does have some of that. His throws tend to fade a little bit, on some of that
Yeah.
passing. I found that when he scrambled, he wasn't nearly as good as when he was actually on a planned rollout. Getting on the move and throwing. And he does sometimes use that excuse. I think it's not the right word, of being really athletic, to scan away out of a pocket very quickly. He's like, right, okay, how can I get out of this pocket rather than wanting to stay in? Where I think he'd be sometimes better placed to do so because he will have a pass on. I just don't think he has enough zip when he's throwing out with the numbers as well. For me, as I said before, and this is coming back to it, I like Jayden Daniels. I'm not in love with Jayden Daniels, and some teams are, though. I think they're going to see that running ability and bite on that, but I'm a little bit hesitant again.
Yeah. I think we see the weaknesses or the areas for improvement pretty spot on. I'll maybe just add into some of what you said there to give some context, or just add what I can. He's more of a creator as a runner than a passer. I
Yeah,
think a lot of what he does as a passer comes to him. And I think he drops his eyes to assess his rushing options too quickly,
yeah,
which I know you touched on there, but I'm maybe just giving some extra thoughts here. He benefited completely from having wide receivers who were constantly wide open. The question is then, does he have the ability to elevate an offense, or do those receivers have the ability to elevate an offense? Now, it can be both, and they can definitely complement each other. But whether he goes to the Commanders or whether he goes to the Patriots, because we're assuming he's going to go top 3, they don't have those guys. And so where you then have to project where he can succeed, right? His placement on deep balls can definitely be better. He throws with touch, but not necessarily with anticipation going deep. Lets his receivers adjust during their routes and during the catch, rather than the other way round. Arm strength is good enough, but he's definitely not a driver of the football. It's not high velocity, high power, layer into tight windows type of thrower. He's prefers to be like a layup receiver that throws with touch at all levels. And maybe there is a bit of lack of velocity and power with some of his throws that do fade. And then as a rusher, he's completely reckless. He's a reckless athlete as a runner. He's simply, you can't be willing to take those hits at the next level. And then I watched them. You go back and you get a feel for it, but try and watch it a little bit more closely. I think, oh, why is he even taking these hits? Is it because he didn't see the person? And I think it does come down to that sometimes, where he's assessed it and he just hasn't read it right. Because I think he shows great vision as a runner to find the spots, but I think there's definitely a lack of situational awareness at times, which is where he gets caught out with some absolutely massive hits where he maybe loses track of defenders who come down and absolutely clobber him one, and you will not get away with that. You won't last very long taking hits like that there at the NFL level. Look, he probably knows that. All NFL teams know that too. You can rein that in, right? You can rein that in. You can tell him to stop doing it. But if you do tell him to stop doing it, what do you then have? And I think he is the type of player who certainly, all players benefit from a good offense, right? That sounds silly to say, but I think he's the type of player that you would slot into a good offense rather than a player that you would maybe build around.
yeah. I think that's fair. I think if you have you've got to have a plan for Jayden Daniels. I think if you're not just going to
Exactly.
be, yeah, we're going to draft a good quarterback. Oh, he's next on the list. Right, let's draft Jayden Daniels. I think if you do that, you're setting yourself up for a fail. If you're going to draft Jayden Daniels and have him as your guy, you've got to have a plan what you're going to do with that almost before you even draft him. You've got to have the right coaching staff, the right offensive line, the right wide receiver mix, and understand how he's going to operate within that system. I think it would be reckless just to pick him because he's the first available quarterback and you've not really put much thought
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, and I was going to say it goes for all quarterbacks, but if a team loves Jayden Daniels, then take him by all means. But if you're a team who just likes Jayden Daniels and feels like they need a quarterback, then he's not that type of quarterback for you, because if you're not attached to him in the way that you maybe are with a quarterback that you love, you're going to get this guy killed because you're just going to let him do what he's always been doing, and that just isn't gonna work, because you can't run like that, and you're going to have to work on the scheme with deeper balls as well. So I think if a team loves him, I can see how this works out. But if a team doesn't love him and just picks a quarterback because they need a quarterback, then it's just not going to work, because he isn't that type of player. He isn't going to be able to elevate every single offense in the NFL. There's just going to be certain teams that he suits, and if his style doesn't suit your team's style, then this fails miserably.